Ladies and gentlemen, pay attention. This is your boy, the coach from the WWE. I would like to welcome you to the very first wrestling podcast in the world to take you on a weekly deep dive into classic matches along with legends of the squared circle. Enjoy the discussion. Enjoy the back and forth. There's so much to get into. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Payoff.
Welcome to an all-new episode of The Payoff. I'm Tom. That's Jeff. And Jeff, you're telling me this is the first ever Dusty Rhodes singles match we've ever covered on here. Episode 361. Is that correct?
I'm a double check, but I believe so.
All right, I love it.
How did you find first one? Yep.
How did you find this match?
Yeah, so this was one I was watching some old NXT actually, and so of course, like you see Dusty on there, all the wrestlers talking about Seth and everybody. You ask them, it's going to be Dusty that comes up. Randy Orton, he's always, I feel like there's rumors of Orton coming back or Orton's doing this. And so, I thought it was just kind of an oddball match that, gets overlooked. I do not expect a 10-star by any means here, or 5-star, 10 out of 10. But I do think that I definitely wanted to cover a Dusty Rhodes match. I've added a few Dusty matches to when he was a full-time wrestler, because this one, he was long retired at this point, but he's back out there now. So just because this was kind of an oddball match, I wanted to do it.
Love it. I'm excited for this one. This will be a fun one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. I'm ready to get into it.
Let's get to the build.
Oh, it's time for the build.
All right, so Great American Bash. We are in San Jose, California, July 22nd, 2007. 13,000 in attendance, buy rate of 229,000. Dark match. Chuck Palumbo defeats Chris Masters. We start off with MVP retaining his U.S. championship against Matt Hardy in 12 minutes. Hornswoggle wins the Cruiserweight Championship in 7 minutes in a Cruiserweight Open, defeating Chavo Guerrero, Jimmy Wang Yang, Shannon Moore, Funaki, and Jamie Noble. Carlito defeats the Sandman in 5 minutes in a Singapore Cane on a pole match. Candice Michelle defeats Melina in 6 minutes in a Women's Championship match to retain her title. Umaga retains his Intercontinental Championship in 11 minutes against Jeff Hardy. John Morrison defeats CM Punk to retain the ECW World Heavyweight Championship in 8 minutes. Then we get our match that we're going to cover, Orton, Rhodes, Bull Rope match. Our semi-main event, you ready for this one? Great Khali retains his World Heavyweight Championship in 10 minutes. He defeats Batista and Kane. And then our main event, John Cena retains his WWE Championship in 15 minutes by defeating Bobby Lashley. I know we didn't love Super Cena in this era, but look at this card, okay? You're going to rely pretty heavily on John Cena. How do we get to this match?
Yeah, so this one, like I said, you got to be careful when you say Rhodes and Orton, because you could be referring to any kind of generation, depending on who you ask. And so this was one, though, Orton was in the Legend Killer. Like here, he was in his Legend Killer phase. He was the Legend Killer. He was taking on these older stars, cementing him as this next-gen main eventer, the young kid, he could take out all of these guys. And so Dusty Rhodes, long retired, working more in that NXT, or not at this point, not the NXT, but more creative behind the scenes, getting that old school versus the modern approach. He tries to Orton tries to erase the legacy of some of these guys. It leads into him kind of verbally abusing Dusty, talks about him as a relic, doesn't belong in WWE, just all these different things. And so Dusty ended up challenging to a Texas Bull Rope match. This is Dusty's match. It's old school, violent, gritty, all these different things. And so it's essentially him kind of telling Orton, like, if you're going to beat me, you're going to beat me in my match. And so, like we said, they're tied together. Like, they got to touch like all four corners of the ring. It's just messy. Like, so following along with this one might be a little tough, but it's short. But it should be, I say, interesting, if nothing else.
Well, I'm excited to cover this one.
Yeah, I know. I have no clue what we're about to see. So sometimes that's okay too.
All right. Are you ready?
Let's do this, man.
Hour and 8-minute left in Great American Bash 2007. We're on Netflix. It's time for the payoff.
Oh, it's time for the payoff.
All right, getting into it. Here we go. Here comes Dusty.
I had to see the entrance.
Yeah, of course. Big pop. He's already sweating pretty good.
I mean, there's no chance they put a guy like this in the ring now, right?
Oh, no, I would hope not. Yeah.
I mean, look at this. It's just ridiculous.
It really is. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
He's got his knee taped outside of his jeans, in a cowboy hat and a cutoff button down, which great look. And Orton looks like $1 million.
Yeah, I mean, he sure does. All right, getting out of the ring, acting like he's scared. I mean, just a great heel move. Oh my goodness. So you like the idea of legends being involved. You just don't need to see a bull rope match.
So yeah, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, and we can bring it back up now. Yeah, it's just, this isn't what I want to see. But I would I would want to see him kind of outside of the ring, mentoring somebody, like, or any of these guys. Like, I think there's a way to do it. Like, I think it's interesting too, because I think a good example I have right now is, like, they talk sometimes about what's her name, Roxy being, or Roxanne Perez being from Booker T's wrestling school. And so I think that lends some credibility of, like, when you say, hey, she was trained by Booker T, it's like, oh, okay, like Booker T, like that, got it, cool. And so same with, like, for Kishi's training people. I know there's a couple people out there that he's doing that with. And so I think that, adding that just kind of connectivity to it makes a really big deal, or makes it a really big deal. And so that's why I think that it is important to do some of that stuff. Yeah.
Where are you at with Cody? Should he stay babyface or should he be a heel?
I'm so hesitant now with after the Cena turn. I just, not to say they can't handle it, but it's terrifying. Of, are they going to mess it up? I don't want them to do that, but also it's weird. I'm not sure.
Yeah, again, I mentioned this last week or the week before, just in terms of if you were to bring Vince McMahon back, I put it in the same category where it's like, what's your risk tolerance?
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes is a heel.
That's all it is.
Cody Rhodes as a heel could lead to some of the best television you've done in years. It could also be a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We didn't want to turn Roman Reigns heel. We finally did, and what happened? Biggest storyline since the NWO. Most money that professional wrestling's ever made. So, big swing and it worked. Hogan being a heel, gosh, I mean, led to a ton of money. Austin being a heel, disaster.
Biggest swing ever. Yeah.
Horrible. Cena being a heel, didn't work. Would it have worked 10 years prior? I believe it would have, but it was not the right time for that. So, these things are tough, but it's just, and right now is like the worst time to take a risk, in the sense of the business is great. Mm-hmm. You're sitting there, you're filling stadiums for back-to-back nights. I mean, it's tough to look at it and go, hey, you want to take a big risk that could be horrible and bad for business? Do you really want to be Triple H and go to Ari Emanuel and Mark Shapiro and Nick Khan and say, hey, we have this guy, Cody Rhodes, that's our QB1. He's our top merch seller. People love him. We decided to have him tell the fans to go to hell. Well, why would you do that? Well, we thought it would make for great TV. That's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. This is not Vince McMahon, where there's no one to answer to. That's the value of a founder-led company like Vince McMahon. He can do whatever the hell he wants, and it doesn't really matter. He has no one to answer to. Now these guys are going to be less. They're going to be more risk adverse. They're going to be less willing to take a risk. So I don't know. I don't think I would have the guts to do it. And I don't know if Cody's at that point where people are rejecting him as a babyface. He's still pretty damn over.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the problem of, you got to balance the roster. There's so many things that you and I aren't thinking of that we just don't know what goes into it. And so, Cody may not want it right now either. Like, who knows? Like, he's cooled a little bit. Not that he's cold, but, outside of the big shows, it's not something where you're like, oh, okay, like I need to see Cody every week. Yeah. I wonder the kid factor too. They're going for that younger audience. And I have friends that Cody Rhodes, their kids, under 15, Cody Rhodes is their favorite. It's not Roman Reigns. Danhausen is now, the biggest wrestler, social media wise, I feel like, on the planet right now. Don't be cursed by him, because that shit's real. You can ask the Knicks and Spurs about that.
It sure is.
Oh man. And so, but some of that type of stuff, yeah, you got to just, see how it plays out. But yeah, I wonder if they're like, if we turn him, it speaks to the Undertaker's 50-50 when it comes to politics. You talk about politics and you're going to burn 50% of your audience immediately. No matter how you talk about it, you're going to burn 50%. And so I'm sure they're looking at the metrics of, okay, if we turn Cody, how many fans are we going to turn against him? Maybe not knowing how many you're going to turn for him. And so that's got to be a little terrifying too, and especially not in like a, oh my gosh, am I doing the right thing? But in a, oh my gosh, are the shareholders going to be okay with potentially losing money? And so, because you have to factor that whether you like it or not. And so, yeah. So I don't know.
Orton in control. Is this just a pinfall, or do they need to touch all four corners? This is
touch
just
all four.
This is a touch all four. Okay.
Yeah.
Cody pulled out the bull rope. I think it was during the Hell in a Cell match against Seth. I was just watching that the other day with my son.
Yeah, you would know, like, bringing him into this, like, would he, how do you think he would react if Cody went heel?
Man, that's a great question.
Right, sorry, put you on the spot. Sorry.
No, I'm just thinking about. I'm thinking about it.
He doesn't like.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, 6 years old. I don't know if it would register. But he's not he's not like obsessed with any I don't know. I mean, it's my kids cheer for some of the bad guys and stuff, so it's not like I don't know. Good guy, bad guy. Okay, we have a pinfall.
Yeah.
Obviously, his current song's better, but his old song wasn't so bad.
There wasn't anything wrong with it. Yeah. It looked like he was going to go for the punt there. Oh boy, a young Cody Rhodes slides in for the save.
He never went back to the black hair after he's gone blonde, right?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, is that what happens if he goes heel? Does he do the black hair?
Comes out with black hair all of a sudden, yeah.
I mean, you'd think so, right?
Wild to see Cody in 20.
Is this before Cody was a wrestler?
I don't know.
My guess is it was, but no, I guess this would have been after, right? Yeah, because then this would have been after Evolution and stuff. I don't know, but Cody looks really young.
This match took place on July 22nd, 2007. On July 2nd, 2007, Runnels made his television debut as a face. So literally 2 weeks prior to this is when Cody debuted.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Let's get into the aftermath.
Ho! It's time for the aftermath.
What'd you think?
Yeah, it was fine. I think you were setting up the Cody stuff more than anything. We'll talk about that in a sec here. It was what it was. It was fine.
It was fine.
Yeah. Orton, and it became Orton. We know the Legend Killer. They still reference that story. Dusty didn't wrestle anymore after this, but what you had then is, Cody preventing Orton from doing any more damage. Next night on Raw, Rhodes challenged Orton to a rematch, only to lose that one, which did end with Orton giving the punt to Dusty. So, and then we ended up getting the Ted DiBiase feud. And then the legacy. So but Dusty just kind of, we know, eventually became the greatest NXT coach ever and all that. So, outside of his regular career. So, this 2007 though, PWI, Dusty not rated, well, not surprised by that, but Randy Orton was 15. And so, we could score this one, but not that it was bad, but also not that it was like, yay. I don't know.
Okay.
What do you think for a score?
This one did not do much for me. I will give it a 3. It was bad, and I mean, he shouldn't have wrestled, right? Like we just didn't need to have a match. I don't know. I beat him up. Like you could have done this a different way. So not a fan. You start, Jeff, when you do this, you start to get to a place where it becomes hokey, right? And that's what I don't like, where it's like, all right, clearly this young kid would beat the shit out of this old guy. Like this isn't Hulk Hogan in the red and yellow, where it's like, okay, I'll suspend belief to think that he can keep up with Orton or Michaels or Rock or whoever. I can do that, but a overweight older guy, like, I just can't buy it. I'm sorry. So that's what I don't like about it.
Yeah, I'm at a 2.5. It's fine. I'm ready to move on to next week. It was good to cover it. I'm glad, something a little different, a Dusty Road. We will eventually cover a good Dusty match soon. But yeah, it's just, got to start somewhere.
Yep.
Okay. Speaking of them, what do we have coming up here? I promise you there's some better stuff coming your way. And so next week, though, we're going to do the Dennis Rodman, Hulk Hogan taking on the Giant and Lex Luger from Bash at the Beach 97. So maybe not a great one next week, but that's okay. But then after that, we do have a bunch of really good ones to look forward to. Like I said, we cover the good and the bad around here. So, but then we have, if you remember this one, this is a Monday Night Raw in 2002. It was Jeff Hardy taking on The Undertaker for the Undisputed Championship in a ladder match. I do not remember, it's supposed to be very good, but I don't remember that one. And then we're in SummerSlam season. We got a triple threat, Triple H, Kurt Angle, and The Rock for the championship. That's SummerSlam 2000. Jeff Hardy and RVD, that was another hardcore ladder match, 2001. We've talked about it over time, but we've got the street fight between your boy Shawn Michaels and Triple H, SummerSlam 2002. So we got some good stuff. I see some Money in the Bank matches coming up here. We're gonna get into what we got some fun stuff happening.
Okay, I'm down.
Cool.
I'm excited, man.
Yeah, let's send them home happy.
Okay, well, we appreciate everyone listening. We'll see you next week on an all-new episode of The Payoff.